I've always been skeptical of smart homes. The idea of everything being connected to the internet, your locks, your cameras, your lights, just felt like an invasion of privacy. But when you're a broke college student trying to pay off tuition, you don't really get to be picky about how you make your money. During my junior year of college, I found a gig on a house-sitting app. A wealthy couple in their late 50s was going on a 3-week vacation to Europe and needed someone to watch their massive, newly renovated mansion in an upscale, gated neighborhood just outside of Austin, Texas. They were paying $1,000 a week. All I had to do was feed their cat, grab the mail, and make sure the house didn't burn down. When I arrived for the walkthrough, the house was intimidating. It was a massive, ultra-modern compound made mostly of glass, black steel, and concrete. It looked like a billionaire's bunker. The owner, a guy named Richard, gave me the grand tour. He was obsessed with the house's integrated smart system. Everything is automated, he told me, pointing to a sleek tablet mounted on the wall. The thermostat, the locks, the security cameras, the blinds. You don't need keys. The house tracks movement. It talks to you. To demonstrate, Richard tapped a button on his phone. Instantly, a calm, robotic female voice echoed from hidden speakers in the ceiling.
Front door locked. Alarm system armed.
It's a state-of-the-art security grid, Richard said proudly. If any door or window opens, or if there's motion outside after midnight, the house will announce it over the intercom. You'll never be caught off guard. It was a cool party trick, but it honestly made me a little uneasy. The house felt too quiet, too sterile. Still, $3,000 was a life-changing amount of money for me. I smiled, took the emergency contact list, and watched them drive off to the airport. The first night was completely fine. I ordered a pizza, watched some movies on a massive 85-inch TV, and enjoyed the luxury. But the house's AI system was definitely annoying. Every time I walked into a new room, the lights would automatically fade on. When I let the cat out into the backyard, the overhead voice would chime in. Back patio door opened. It felt less like a luxury home and more like a high-tech prison. I was constantly being monitored by the house itself. Things took a terrifying turn on my third night. It was a Tuesday. It was pouring rain outside, a heavy Texas thunderstorm that was shaking the large glass windows. I was upstairs in the master bedroom, lying in a king-sized bed, scrolling through my phone. It was around 1:15 a.m. The house was dead silent aside from the rain hitting the roof. Suddenly, the overhead speaker crackled to life. The robotic female voice echoed through the dark bedroom.
Motion detected at the front gate.
I froze. I sat up in bed, my heart instantly beating a little faster. The house was set far back from the street, surrounded by a high brick wall. Someone would have to physically climb the gate to trigger that sensor. I waited in the dark, listening. 5 minutes passed. Nothing. I convinced myself it was just a stray dog or maybe a tree branch blowing in the heavy wind. I laid back down and closed my eyes. 20 minutes later, the speaker chimed again.
Motion detected on the back patio.
My blood ran cold. The back patio was completely enclosed. To get back there, someone would have had to jump the side fence and walk all the way around the property. A tree branch couldn't do that. I quietly slipped out of bed. The floor was carpeted, so my footsteps were silent. I crept out into the upstairs hallway and looked over the glass railing down into the massive, dark living room below. The first floor was pitch black. I held my breath, straining my ears to hear anything over the sound of the rain. Chime.
Back glass door breached.
The word breached hit me like a punch to the gut. The system didn't say opened, it said breached. That meant the glass had been broken or forced off its tracks. Someone was inside the house. Panic completely paralyzed me. I didn't know what to do. The master bedroom didn't have a solid lock, just a flimsy privacy latch. I didn't have a weapon. I pulled out my cell phone to call 911, my hands shaking so violently I could barely unlock the screen. As I dialed the numbers, the house spoke again. It was completely void of emotion, just a calm, robotic tracking system doing its job.
Motion detected in the kitchen.
They were moving through the house. And because of the motion sensors, the house was tracking their exact location. It was the most horrifying countdown I could ever imagine. I hit send on my phone. The 911 operator answered on the first ring. 911, what is your emergency? She asked. Someone broke into the house I'm staying in, I whispered, my voice cracking. I gave her the address as quickly as I could. Please hurry, I'm upstairs. Motion detected in the main living area. The voice echoed loudly upstairs. The intruder had moved from the kitchen to the living room. They were getting closer to the stairs. Sir, I have officers en route, the dispatcher said. Are you in a safe room? Can you lock the door? The door doesn't lock well, I whispered, tears welling up in my eyes. I crawled back into the master bedroom, quietly closed the heavy oak door, and clicked the small lock. I backed away into the master bathroom and grabbed a heavy metal towel rack, ripping it off the wall to use as a club.
Motion detected at the base of the stairs.
He was coming up. I pressed my back against the bathroom wall, gripping the metal pipe so hard my knuckles turned white. The smart home system was a nightmare. It was designed to keep the owners safe, but right now it was just torturing me, giving me a play-by-play of my own impending death. Then, the worst thing possible happened. The automated voice spoke again, but this time, the audio was much louder. Motion detected in the upstairs hallway. I stopped breathing. The dispatcher on the phone was asking me questions, but I couldn't respond. I just held the phone to my ear, listening. I heard the distinct sound of heavy, wet footsteps on the hardwood floor just outside the bedroom door. The floorboards creaked under the weight of someone very large. They stopped right outside my door. For 30 agonizing seconds, there was absolute silence. I knew they were standing there, staring at the wood, knowing I was inside. Did they hear the house announcing their location? Did they know I had called the cops? Then, the door handle slowly began to turn. Click. Jiggle. The flimsy lock held, but the intruder didn't give up. A heavy shoulder slammed against the wood. The door bowed inward with a loud crack. They're trying to get in, I screamed into the phone. Officers are pulling up to the gate right now, the dispatcher yelled back. Stay on the line. Suddenly, the intruder stopped. Through the pouring rain, I heard the faint wail of police sirens approaching the neighborhood. The flashing red and blue lights began to reflect through the large windows, casting chaotic shadows across the walls. The heavy footsteps quickly turned away from my door. I heard them running frantically down the hallway. Motion detected on the stairs. Motion detected in the living room. Front door breached. The automated voice tracked him all the way out of the house. By the time the police breached the front entrance with their flashlights drawn, the man was completely gone. He had sprinted out the front door and vanished into the wooded area behind the wealthy neighborhood. When the cops finally came upstairs and escorted me out of the bathroom, I was shaking so hard I could barely walk. They searched the entire house and the surrounding property, but the heavy rain had completely washed away any footprints or tire tracks. When we went back downstairs to look at the point of entry, the police found exactly how he had gotten in. The heavy, shatterproof glass of the backsliding door had been completely smashed in with a heavy crowbar. But that wasn't the detail that gave me nightmares. When the police checked the smart home's internal security log on the iPad, they realized something terrifying. The system logged exactly when the motion sensors were triggered. The sensor at the back patio was triggered at 1:35 a.m., but the sensor inside the kitchen wasn't triggered until 1:45 a.m. That means whoever broke in didn't just smash the glass and run inside. They smashed the glass and then stood in the pouring rain in the pitch black for 10 full minutes, just watching the dark house, waiting to see if anyone would come downstairs. I packed my bags that exact same night and drove back to my college apartment. I left the keys on the kitchen counter and texted the owners that I had a family emergency. I didn't care about the rest of the money. To this day, I refuse to buy an Alexa, a Ring camera, or any smart home device. Because every time I hear an automated voice, I am dragged right back to that dark bedroom, listening to a soulless computer count down the footsteps of a man who was coming to kill me.